This week, I dish on The Drama, A24's newest romantic black comedy starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. Then, we'll take a look at last year's A24 romance, Materialists, directed by Celine Song, her hit follow-up to Past Lives. Coming up.
When no one keeps their faith in you, it's up to you to see it through.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of One More for Safety, where we filmmakers believe every film deserves a second take, including Celine Song's follow-up feature to Past Lives, Materialists. I'm here not joined by Tyler this week because Tyler's a bit busy, but I've managed to wrangle my good friend Claire, who's here to sub in today.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, great. Great start. How are you with movies? What's your relationship with movies?
Fond movie watcher, not super cultured.
That's fair.
That's the
fine.
tagline.
That's most people, to be
Yeah.
fair. So you know what? You are our first everyman on the show.
Ooh,
You are our first casual moviegoer,
wait.
which is quite. This is historic moment in a sense of our 7-episode show.
Thank you.
Before we get to the Materialists, because it's going to be too late once we go on after this, I want to talk a little bit about another film that just came out, because it's kind of a nice pairing with Materialists. It's another A24 romantic drama that just came out last week, and it's called The Drama, with starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, about a wedding that goes off the rails when an old buried secret comes to light 3 days before the wedding. I won't talk spoilers. I won't talk spoilers because I think this is a movie that's best gone in completely cold, not knowing. But I will say that it's directed by Christopher Borgli, who is he's a Norwegian film director. He usually specializes in these kind of black comedy oddball films. His last film, Dream Scenario, had Nicolas Cage in it. And fun fact, I went on a date with someone and saw this film for the first time at the Picture House Central watching Dream Scenario. It was very odd. It's very odd.
Prime
I
first
wouldn't-
date material.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't recommend doing Dream Scenario as a date movie. I wouldn't recommend that. They gave me a loaf of bread as a gift for that date, which was also very odd. I felt like I slipped into some weird... I felt like I was in a Christopher movie, in a sense. The Drama. For me personally, this is a one and done for me. It's a really good movie. I can only see it the one time, and I'm not gonna revisit this.
Okay.
It's got, on a technical level, it's edited really great. I love its use of subjective storytelling. Like the camera tells the story from a specific character's point of view very well and puts you in their shoes. But it's my least favorite kind of comedy, which is this really played straight, cringe-inducing, bad things are happening kind of comedy.
Oh.
A la like a Peep Show, or it's a rough watch. I've watched so many horror movies. This is one movie. It's not even a horror movie, but I was literally cowering away from the screen. I couldn't watch what was happening on screen. Kind of stuff happening. But it played like gangbusters in a cinema.
Oh.
Like the crowd was gasping and laughing really hard. I saw it on a Monday night, which is not really prime movie watching
No, it's
audience
not.
time, but they were into it.
Okay.
It was so I would recommend seeing it in the theater at least once to make your own opinion about it. But it's good for me. It's just I don't think I could watch it again. I don't think I can survive watching it again. Robert Pattinson is fantastic in it. He is the standout in the whole cast. Like, he is perfect at playing a completely lost and flailing loser who is just has no idea what he's doing and is flailing from moment to moment. And Alana Hayam of the band Hayam, who has been in like Paul Thomas Anderson. She's the lead in Licorice Pizza, the Paul Thomas Anderson film. She showed up in one battle after another. She was in that Kelly Reichardt film, The Mastermind, with Josh O'Connor, who we like,
Oh, that one.
about an art thief.
Yeah.
She's kind of, she's blown up.
Yeah.
Well, acting wise, she's already big as part of Hayam, but she's really great at playing a really annoying character in this movie. You will hate her character by the end of the drama. So I would recommend it. Go watch it. That's my quick review at the top of this. But we're not going to talk about the drama for the rest of today. We're going to talk about...
Materialists.
Yay! Claire, you have been lobbying
Yes.
for the two of us to watch this movie
Yes.
since it came out last year,
Which was a while ago. It's
which was a while ago. I think this was a summer movie release of last year. This
do
is an
believe.
A24 film that came out.
June 13th.
Tentpole summer experience of last year. But we missed seeing it in the theaters.
Yes.
We were busy.
We were very busy.
And then we waited till it came to a streaming service.
Yes.
And then it did.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just kept putting it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you know going in?
Obviously I saw the trailers and there was the buzz around it being, Celine Song's first feature film after Past Lives, which was obviously huge.
Mm-hmm. Got nominated at the Oscars for
nominated,
Best Picture,
Which was
original
insane.
screenplay.
Yeah. And obviously, once it came out, there was all this stuff online, especially on Instagram, where I'm unfortunately very online on there. There was a lot of stuff about sort of the philosophical choices being made. And I personally love a little bit of, dissecting a movie's larger message and whatnot.
Mm.
So, they just kind of come up on the algorithm and you can't help but look away and maybe swipe over a couple of slides and be like, oh, so that's what's happening.
Right.
But coming in, I didn't know a lot of how the plot unfolded, mostly just kind of what the choices were that were being made.
Okay,
And
yeah.
people trying to rationalize the reasoning.
Let's set it up, what this movie is. So, Materialists is a story about Dakota Johnson's character, Lucy Mason, who is a matchmaker.
A professional matchmaker.
A professional matchmaker working for a professional matchmaking agency.
Yes.
In New York City.
Woo.
Woo! She has an ex-boyfriend, Chris Evans' character, John, who is a struggling theater actor, also a
Wedding caterer.
wedding
waiter.
caterer on the side,
Yes.
who she bumps into at the wedding of one of her
Client.
clients, who she has match made and they've gotten married. While at the same time, she also runs into Pedro Pascal's character, Harry, who is what they describe in the matchmaking world as a unicorn.
Yes.
The impossible perfect match. Really, ticks all the boxes,
As they would say.
as they would say as a matchmaker. That he's hot, he's rich, he's nice, he dresses well. I think this is all what she says.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Pedro Pascal.
And it's Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, so Dakota Johnson has a choice to make. Who is she gonna spend the rest of her life with? Chris Evans or Pedro Pascal? That is the movie.
That is essentially the
That is
movie, yeah.
essentially the movie. Movie starts in ye old times.
And by ye old, we really mean ye old.
In Mexico.
In caveman
Filmed in
times.
Mexico. Caveman times. With the first wedding. Although we were saying when the movie was running, is this going to turn into, the first love triangle? Which is a different matter.
Very different.
But that is kind of like the prelude to the story, our little intro primer, and then we see Dakota Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of Dakota Johnson in this movie?
I think, oh, you mean in terms of like her acting ability or her character?
How is she in the movie as a puzzle of a larger whole in the film?
I think that she fits in pretty well, especially because she is self-described, the character at least, is self-described as cold
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, in a very calculating manner.
Yeah.
I think that this is one of those stories where each character is very clearly the symbol, like a symbol of a larger ideology or philosophy. So at some point, you kind of just stop viewing it as like a person talking, and more like,
It's a set of ideals.
yeah, with a mouth
With a mouth.
and a face.
You know.
I
Good looking faces. Though.
great looking faces. I will say her delivery was very smooth, and it's like it is a very clear communication. You can see that she does, you know, Lucy truly looks like she believes in what she's saying,
Yeah.
which is pretty good instead of that will they, won't they dynamic, especially for like a love triangle, because it's so cliche. It's so like the usual ones that you see are so dramatic. It's like, oh no, but I love this guy.
It's
but
very
I also
broad.
love that
It's
guy.
big.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's big. But this feels like not Lucy concerned with two men differently, and she's acting different with both of them. It feels like Lucy concerned with herself and what she wants, which is really good, actually.
I said, you gave me shit for it. Rightly so. You should have given me shit for it. Where I made a judgment call 20 minutes into the movie.
Yes.
When after maybe 2 scenes of Dakota Johnson acting, and I jokingly said, "Oh, here we go. That's the Dakota Johnson line read." And you said, "We're not even halfway through the movie yet. Give it a chance." And you know what? You were right to give me shit, because over the course of the movie, I did start to lock in as to why she was chosen for the part. I think Dakota Johnson, I think a large part of her, at least the personality that she presents to the outside world, is this character, or at least vibes a lot with what this character she's playing is kind of talking about and going through. And this is not just a joke because the character says, I'm bad at acting. This is not that. I mean, just in terms of like the kind of the calculated, almost coldness of the way she interprets love at first, and the transactionality of dating very much is like, it works with how Dakota Johnson is playing it. I did say though in the movie that whenever I see Dakota Johnson acting, I think of she's barely in it. She's in one scene of David Fincher's The Social Network. She plays like a college student who has a one-night stand with Parker, the freaking the Justin Timberlake's character.
No, I remember that.
She's great in that one scene. And then she's never acts like that ever again in any movie we ever see Dakota Johnson in, really. I'm not sure what happened. She found her lane that she likes to play in, maybe. But I do think she is suited to the material of Materialists.
Yeah.
I do think there's a world in which this movie is a better movie with a different actress. Though I can see why she was chosen for this part. You know? I think to me, there's a few times where I'm wishing that, and unfortunately it's also a byproduct of being paired with Celine Song as a director. There's so many times where the shot is like the face in full frame, and Celine Song will hold on the take, even though the other character is speaking, will stay on the face to get the full, reacting, emoting. When it's, and I must say, I feel like Chris Evans is knocking homers out of the park every time he's on screen. He's really good in this movie. which makes it even more apparent sometimes when it cuts to Dakota Johnson, and Lucy is sort of where initially it's a benefit to the first half of the movie, where her character is very calculative in dating, so the coldness is a feature. When she is supposed to then choose, spoilers by the way for Materialists.
Massive spoilers.
Massive spoilers for Materialists.
Huge spoilers.
When she chooses Chris Evans' character, she kind of does need to open that up a bit more, and she does in certain scenes, but there are some times where it's like nothing's happening on her face. That's what I think. It's the scene that really made it apparent is when, okay, we might have to backtrack a bit, but one of the things that happens in the middle of the movie is that one of the clients that Dakota Johnson's character, the matchmaker, one of the clients she matchmakes with, she makes a bad call. She doesn't know it, but the guy that she matchmakes her client with is like a bad guy. Sexually assaults her client. And later on in the movie, the client calls Dakota Johnson, say, hey, this guy is outside my apartment trying to like harass me and get in. Can you come help me? And Dakota Johnson's character, Lucy, says, I'm on my way. I'm coming. And there's a shot where they're in the car. She's on the phone still with her. And like, she is trying to tell Sophie, her client, to calm down. But the energy that Dakota Johnson is bringing in that moment did not feel proportional to what was happening. In my eyes, there was something a little lacking. It felt a little too matter of fact. You know what I mean?
I see where you're coming from, but on one hand, her character is just kind of, she's not very emotional. She's not like a big emotions and showing it
This
person.
is true. Yeah.
But on the other hand, in that situation, I think she's still taking like a very professional approach to it.
That's fair.
I think that Lucy still views Sophie as her client and that she's trying to keep her safe and to sort of fix the mistake in question here, which wasn't really, a mistake on her part. But in that scenario, what good would it do to be like, oh my God, call the cops, hide, like you should hide in your house and like bar all your doors and windows. Like it wouldn't do any good in that situation.
Yeah.
But it did feel that the tone of that scene was a bit underrated. Like the energy wasn't
underplayed
there.
a little.
Yeah, like the tension just didn't get to the point where, it's a scary situation.
Yeah.
We should be feeling that it is a scary situation. But for some reason, the energy just wasn't there. The tension hadn't risen to that point.
Hey, Imran here. If you're enjoying this ramble on about movies, make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or that suspicious CD vendor on the street. Don't worry, he's cool. It's just Tyler. Hi.
But this is a great segue to what I will say are the two great performers in this film, which are, as I've already said, Chris Evans as, what's his name? John.
His name was John, yeah.
It's
His name is
just
John.
regular white guy name.
John.
His name's John. Chris Evans is great in this. Really great, funny, grounded performance, I must say. And I don't really see Chris Evans in a lot of things outside of Captain America nowadays. I mean, he's in Knives Out. He's great in Knives
He
Out.
was in one Knives Out.
He's
Yeah,
the
he's in the
first
first
Knives
Knives
Out. But that's
Yeah.
all I think I've seen him in outside of the Marvel Mega Machine.
No, he was in something else. Wait.
Well, he was in
I've
that
seen
Ana de
him.
Armas Apple TV Plus action comedy Ghosted.
Don't remember.
I didn't
that.
watch it, but I know he was in it. He's in another Apple TV Plus show called Defending Jacobs. Defending Jacob. He plays like a lawyer.
Okay.
I think so. That's him as well.
Oh, I remember him in The Gray Man action.
Oh, God, that's right.
Very, very unhinged action.
Yeah. But for the most part, it's like projects that either miss or fly completely under the radar. But Materialists made a pretty large splash. It was divisive when it first came out, but if I'm not mistaken, Materialists had a budget of like $20 million, which is great. Like a mid-budget, it's a mid-budget romantic drama, D-ish. And it made over $100 million.
Yeah.
Well, what was that? 108 to be exact. That's great returns. So
It is.
even though it was divisive critically, that's one of the best performing romantic movies at the cinemas in a long time.
Yeah.
And I think a part of it is Chris Evans. Part of it.
Yeah.
Part of it.
Decent chunk.
Decent chunk of it. But the other performer that we want to give our laurels to, and I think we are both in agreement on this. You can't see it, viewers, if you're listening, because we have no camera set up this week. But Claire did just give me a look of, yes, we do know who we're talking about. And
I
that
hope we
is...
know what we're talking about.
You want to say it at the same time?
I don't know. No, it's going to be really embarrassing. We don't say the same person.
No, that would be fun. Let's try it.
Wait.
We'll just say the character's name at the same time. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Sophie.
Okay, thank God. Okay, we got there.
Yeah, she's great.
She's great.
She's in 3 scenes,
And
and every scene that she shows up in,
very convincing, very convicting.
fantastic performance from her. Let's give her laurel. Zoe Winters is the actress's name who plays Sophie. She is the first matchmaking client that we see of Lucy's, I
Yes,
believe, if I'm not
yes.
mistaken. And it's really great throughout the movie. There's these kind of like, almost a kind of like not in the same vein as in When Harry Met Sally, when there's like the little cutaways to the couples talking about how they met. Throughout the movie, there's these little single shots of all of Lucy's clients talking about what they want in a partner.
Yeah.
Be it as normal or as outlandish as some of the demands, which they are at some
Yeah.
point become, demands are. But Sophie is the first one we see. She does have a very funny line where she says, "I'm not looking for much. I'm looking for 150 grand a year." He needs to be good looking, good hairline, which is, you know what, fair.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, you know.
I'll take it.
She's got her floor. She knows where she's aiming for. And then of course, unfortunately, she is also the client that is
Sexually
assaulted later on in the movie. So she has a great confrontation scene between Dakota Johnson's between Lucy in like the middle of the street, when Lucy is like in her Inspector Gadget undercover trench coat and ball cap, saying, like, tracking her down, because she's been told not to talk to
Yeah.
Sophie.
By
Right?
her boss.
By her boss.
For legal reasons, guys.
Yeah, for legal reasons, rightfully so, because Sophie is suing the company for matching her with this person. And there's this great conversation in the street, heartbreaking conversation in context of what we then figure out later on, where Sophie's says like, "For a moment I thought you were my friend, but you know I'm just like a money cow for you, basically."
Just yikes.
Which is yikes indeed. What do you think? What do you think of Sophie? What do you think of Zoe Winters?
Fantastic actress. Very solid in all of the scenes. Very consistent character. But it does feel like we see, even though we don't see her character that much, we don't see Sophie that much throughout the whole movie. And there's quite, a large time jump in between when we do see her. And obviously, we see her before the date that goes terribly wrong, after the date that goes terribly wrong, and then in the scene, I believe the final scene we see her is when, the guy is at her door and she's terrified out of her mind. It still feels like Sophie is in every single one of those scenes, as in the character is very consistent, and Zoe Winters portrays that absolutely perfectly, but it also feels that there's a massive change to the character and who she is and how she's acting which honestly very hard to do, especially if your character doesn't show up like very consistently, because it can be hard to track that change.
Yeah.
But
She,
it was done very well.
She's literally only in 3 scenes, maybe 4 if you count the fact she's on the phone before we see her.
Oh yeah.
But for the, limited screen time that she shows up in, she knocks it out of the park every time she's on screen, or every time we hear her.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. Which I guess brings us to, well, I don't know. What did you think of Pedro Pascal as Harry, as the unicorn, as they put it in the movie, the so-called ideal match? The pause doesn't give
No,
great
I'm trying to
confidence.
figure out how to phrase this again, because there's like movies where characters are people and in movies where characters are ideals, and I feel like in this one Harry was definitely an ideal, so Pedro Pascal had to play him in a way that's like really just, he has to embody this set of thoughts because that's all that character is.
He needs to figure out how to play it as a character, a human, but it's really written as a collection of an ideals and ideas to litigate.
Yeah, to be like, oh, this man knows he's a unicorn, and the unicorn is, when the unicorn is self-aware that they are a unicorn, like,
Well, it's not even that he's aware that he is a unicorn. He's aware that he's so close to becoming a unicorn.
and then he becomes a unicorn.
Should we talk about the weird that?
Yeah, so
I think this is kind of one of the main things that people were talking about at the time.
yeah, because I remember when somebody first actually, had the procedure in real life, it was this huge thing. It made all like the tabloid news
Yeah.
and like mainstream media and stuff.
Basically, Pedro Pascal. They kind of set this. Sorry, it's just so crazy the way it's played. It's kind of set up earlier in the movie when Lucy's talking to a coworker of hers of like, oh, there's this procedure that you can do to increase your height by 6 inches.
Yeah.
You like surgically break your
your
bones,
legs.
and it will heal itself when you can stretch it out,
I have
and
no
it will
idea how
re-heal
it
something.
works. Guys, none of us are medical professionals. Don't take our word.
Don't worry, if people have heard from the episode on The Martian, they know that we are not scientists on this show. We are not scientists. We have no scientific accreditation, so we are gunning in the dark here.
Yes, we are.
The point is, they can add 6 inches of height to their height
Yes.
if you do this surgery.
Yeah.
But it costs like a lot of money,
2,200K.
something like that.
Yeah.
And Pedro Pascal's character Harry does the procedure
Along with his brother,
along with his brother, who is
the aforementioned very successful groom.
of the at the start of the movie, that the wedding that they meet at. I didn't know how to take it because it's the crux of a pivotal scene in the movie
It is.
where Lucy finds out that Harry has done this procedure, and Harry's embarrassed. He's like, "Oh, yes, I did this. Do you think differently of me now?" And Lucy's like, "No," but she also decides to break up with him on the same night, which does make it feel like it is the legs, which
Which he does mention.
which he does mention. But she says, how did she put it? It made me think about what I thought about the first time I saw you, which is that I'm not in love with you.
Yes.
She likes the kind of all the bits around him, what he can provide, not in love with him as a person,
Yeah.
which is the thesis really of the film, Materialists. What'd you think? Effective? Not effective?
Effective plot device, effective emotional device also to a point, because that's like in the same scene she reveals that she got a nose job and a boob job.
Oh, that's right. That's true.
Yes. And we don't see Harry's reaction to that at all, other than they both agree that they are investing in their bodies.
But there is a tiny reaction.
There is.
There's a reaction where he says, "I had a feeling."
Yeah.
And then she does have a
There is
one
a
of the
bit
few
of a-
times where we get a Dakota Johnson facial acting where she
It's
goes,
like,
the fuck?
really? You can see
Exactly.
this?
That was pretty good. That was
That
pretty
was
funny.
good. I think that they had great chemistry in the scenes they were in together. Just the two of them when they're discussing the nature of their relationship. And this one's not an exception at all. I really like the way that when they were in the restaurant and they're first going on about the unicorns,
The idea of, yeah.
the unicorn. And this really just plays off that one where Harry starts talking about, you know, how he's getting his returns if he invests in this relationship and he spends a lot of money on her, which this is not something that he just pulls out of the blue. She asks him, what do you get by spending
Yes.
all this money on
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
And he kind of answers it in the last scene they have together, which is, I am spending a lot of money on my body and on you because I think we're a good match and we could be good partners. And to which Lucy then says, but love has to be on the table, which is really the entire thesis of the movie.
Because there's a scene prior, which is like the third or fourth date
Yeah.
of between Lucy and Harry, where they do this. They talk about the same kind of argument about the idea of why should they date?
Yes.
Why should Lucy and Harry, the two of them, date? And it is a fantastically directed scene because it's shot in one shot, uncut, for a while. It's just the camera zooming in at the two of them at the dining table, and they underplay it so much. Dakota Johnson and Pedro Pascal. Almost like they are acting under morphine. It is so like calm, blasé. Like it literally feels like a business deal happening. But they're talking about dating.
Yeah.
I think the scene literally ends with like, well, Dakota Johnson's character Lucy has like a whole spiel that she runs of like, I'm a bad match for you.
Yeah.
Why would you want him? And then, like you said, he says, I think we'd be a good match.
Yeah.
And then I think the line specifically that he says is, would you want to be in a deeper relationship with me? I think that's what.
Deeper or serious, one of them.
Oh yeah, or do you want to be in a more serious relationship? with me?
Should
Something
we
along-
start seeing each other more seriously?
That's the thing. We should have written this down.
Yeah, we should have been taking notes.
We watched this like an hour ago. Anyways, he says that, and then she says nothing, but he like offers her his hand across the table, and then she takes it. That's like it. It's like there's no like kiss to seal the deal kind of thing. It is played so much like a transaction, like this is like a corporate deal being signed.
But it's very much, that's just the core.
That
That's
is
just
the
the
core.
center of the movie.
And it's great. Like that scene is played perfectly. I think in general, Celine Song has a great handle on just letting a scene run. There's so many times in the film where some of the strongest scenes are ones where the camera is still, or still as it can be, minimal movement, and it just lets the scene and the environment play out. Because I think there's another shot where Lucy is being told the first time about the incident with her client Sophie, that she got assaulted. She's in the office of her boss, and you see there is the scene playing out between her and the boss of them talking about the incident. But then the whole time in the background through the glass window of the office, you can see the rest of the office celebrating another client getting married as well.
That was the second time she was in the office when she was getting told off.
Oh, you're right.
She was getting told off.
She's getting told off because she's reacting to the Sophie
No, because she was getting one of
Well,
her
she-
clients left a bad review saying that the service was a scam
Yeah, but because of the Sophie,
because of the Sophie
it was
thing.
weighing on her
Yes.
still. You are right.
Was that because of the Sophie?
Yeah, yeah.
That was because of the Sophie thing. Yes.
It was another one of the 3 interstitials. Patricia.
Yes.
Poor
Patricia.
Patricia.
Patricia had a lot of demands. No
Patricia
offense.
came in with like 2 double-sided sheets of requests.
Yes.
That's more than most CVs.
It's more than my CV.
It's definitely more than my CV as well. Yeah. So, but yeah, and then there's the scene at the end, or close to the end, where Lucy and John go upstate after Lucy has turned down Harry, broken up with Harry.
Yes.
And she needs to get away, and she goes upstate with John to kind of decompress, and they like just so happen to like stumble upon John's catering company also catering for like another wedding in upstate New York, so they sneak in and they observe the wedding happening, and there's this great little moment where they are talking over, providing color commentary on the wedding procession happening. And I said this while we were watching it, but it did feel like the scene was originally conceived where they would just talk over and you just hear their voices as a counterpoint to the very lovely ceremony happening.
Yes.
But they do cut into and show John and Lucy talking at some point, which does feel like something that felt like a late addition to me.
A little bit.
Because I think part of me would have liked to see that scene play out where it was just them talking over the image of a very nice wedding happening. Yeah. I don't know. What did you think of Lucy's choice ultimately to drop Harry?
I have a lot to say about this.
Say it.
Please know I have a lot to say about this.
This is your time.
This is essentially on like a personal scale for Lucy. She's like he's everything she ever wanted. This is a rich man who is not, a bad person.
She says it when she breaks up with John the first time in the middle of New York, like literally on the road.
I'm breaking up with you because you're broke.
Yeah.
Which
She hates herself for.
And controversially, I love that for her. Like, unironically, I do think that if finances become too much of a burden, not to get on my soapbox, but if finances
This is the
become too
soapbox.
much of a burden for you and your partner, and it's causing you to literally fight with each other in the middle of the road on your anniversary, in the literal middle of traffic in New York fucking city. Sorry, can I swear on this?
Of course you can swear.
Thank you.
We said common sex like 3 episodes ago about the market.
Okay. But if your relationship, and specifically the finances in your relationship, are driving you to do what these two are doing when they break up, you should absolutely break up. Because it's just a matter of fact that sometimes financial disparity in a relationship is what causes resentment. And it's never been more evident than this. Like, it's kind of lucky that it hasn't led to more, like,
Strain.
infidelity or just like financial abuse or just like abuse within that dynamic.
Yeah. And, unavoidably, for some people, it is like going to be a factor.
Yeah.
And I think it makes sense that she does break up with John.
Exactly.
Because it's like, undeniably, if financial stability is something you're looking for, you can't not disassociate that with the partner you pick.
Yes. Especially because marriage is such an economic agreement as well. Like, it's such a financial agreement.
That's what Florence Pugh says in Little Women.
Exactly. You think times have changed since then. They really haven't. You look at the state of prenups or like how couples manage their finances, or even like financial expectations in a relationship. Like, oh, does the man pay for the first date? Does the woman like pay for her own expenses? Like, what does a joint account look like? Who's putting down money for the mortgage and things like that? It's such an important aspect of relationships that doesn't get talked about enough, because financial freedom for women is still something that's so new to society that a lot of the social expectations haven't caught up yet. And in some cases, current society is kind of regressing to like 1940s ideals of, you know, who should spend money in a relationship.
Right.
For Lucy, absolutely break up with your broke boyfriend. And,
If it's causing you emotional stress and strain,
and it's just
you gotta do it.
Yeah, exactly. And she specifically says that it reminds her of the way her parents used to feel and it reminds her of her parents' dynamic.
Because she says she grew up poor.
Yeah, exactly. And with Harry, however, rich man born rich, stayed rich, will keep being rich.
Nepo baby rich.
Nepo baby rich.
He's we had a moment where
Family business.
he said, Lucy asks him, what do you do? And he says,
Private equity.
private equity. And we both went, ah.
I went family business.
Oh, yeah, sorry. His mom's private equity firm,
Yeah.
which he works at with his brother.
Yes.
Some people just have it made.
Indeed.
Some people just have it made.
Indeed. But it all, like,
He had his Tribeca. He can afford a Tribeca penthouse apartment,
12 million.
which
12
seemed cheap.
Yeah. Which
Weirdly enough.
it kind of shows how, like, messed up our perception of wealth and cheapness.
Especially at that scale, at that level.
Yeah, because it's like, if you can afford 12 million, can you maybe just afford like 1,200 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Is 1,200 million a thing, or is that a billion?
I think 1,200 million is 120 million, no? No.
No,
No,
two zeros.
2 zeros. That is 12 billion, I guess. Yeah.
Whoops. Anyway,
Or is that
so
1.2 billion?
I have no idea. Anyway, dear listener, neither
We're
of us
not
can do
maths
math.
people either.
Please know
over
I
here
have
at
an
the
arts
show.
degree. But yeah, it's just, she states so early on that all she wanted was a rich man and like a super duper ultra rich man as like her maybe.
She has 2 conditions that she sets out at the start when someone asks her, why are you still single? Or why are you the eternal bachelorette? And she says, number 1, the next person I date, I'm gonna marry.
Yes.
Number 2,
He's
he gonna be rich.
Which is
he
what
gonna
she
be
says.
stupid rich.
Which is what she says to Harry as well, which I honestly found kind of surprising, is how blunt the dialogue in this movie was.
Yeah.
Like, everybody says what they mean. I'm not
Very much.
No rom-com.
We aren't
does
trying
that.
to like beat around the bush here. It is like, which is kind of, you know what, clarity in a romantic drama.
It's great. It's refreshing.
Is kind of not often the case, especially in fictional romance.
Oh, yes.
Where part of it is all about like not being able to articulate,
Yeah.
and that miscommunication being the crux of a lot of the drama.
Exactly. You want that, like, you don't want to say what your feelings are, what you really mean, because you want the other person to understand you so intuitively.
It is the evolution of what got started in When Harry Met Sally, of Harry not being able to tell Sally at all that he loves her.
Yeah.
And so we've had essentially, I'm doing the math on the years now. What's that? 50 years now of romantic movies coming from that strain of like the miscommunication is part of the drama. And this one, it's
really
not so much about miscommunication, though there are some things that are unsaid that are explored. But for the most part, people say what they say and mean,
Yeah.
but sometimes they, and most apparent in Lucy's case, where she will say what she thinks she means, but she might feel a little differently. I think the scene that I most think of is when she is like why she's with Harry at all not with Harry, when she goes upstate with John.
Yeah.
You know, we had that thing of like, okay, she can't go to her apartment because she had sublet her apartment. She was supposed to go on that trip to Iceland with Harry.
So it's like the things
She breaks
unsaid.
up. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So she breaks up with Harry because of things we said earlier.
Yeah.
She's not in love with him. They were supposed to go to Iceland. She had sublet her apartment, so she can't go to her apartment because it's sublet for the week that she was supposed to be in Iceland. So she goes to
Ask
John's
John
apartment to
and be
crash.
like, yeah.
Also, we did say like she has no other friends that she can crash with. She has to choose her ex-boyfriend.
My problem with kind of rom-coms is where is everybody's friends? Where do
Where's everyone else?
Do people not have friends? Do people not have families? Like,
I mean, it leads to a really great scene with Sophie,
yes, it does.
where it's a really sad. It makes the second scene we see her where she says she thought Lucy was her friend.
So much sense.
When we see that Sophie is just moved to New York.
Probably just moved. Yeah.
Probably just moved to New York. Her apartment is barely furnished. It's really plain.
Or she just doesn't cook a lot.
Or maybe.
I
It's
don't
just
know.
a kitchen for show.
Yeah, because like we only
That's
saw like the
possible.
kitchen and the hint of a bookshelf. The bookshelf was full,
Bookshelf was
but
full.
the kitchen,
She's a reader.
the kitchen was very empty. Yes.
But and she said Lucy is her first call.
Yeah.
She has no one else she can call to help. She can
Yeah.
only call her matchmaker / she thought was friend. That's the only person she can call after the police. That's really rough.
That's kind of yeah. It's tough to be in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
Do you want to talk about the house porn?
I
in
could
this
talk
film?
about the house
Talk
porn.
about the house porn.
Guys, we don't see Lucy's apartment that much, and I'm kind of upset about it because why is this woman making 80K before taxes only for us to not see
That's
her house?
fucking true, you know. That's we the only thing we see of her apartment is her fire escape.
Yeah. Also, it just makes me feel like we're not meant to think about Lucy as a person that much. We're meant to think about Lucy as a placebo for the choice between a poor man and a rich man.
She's the insert for
Yeah.
people to bring their own
Feelings.
feelings to in the movie.
Like we see John's apartment, we see Harry's penthouse, we see a little bit of
So,
Sophie's.
yeah, John lives with 3 roommates
who
in a-
are disgusting.
who are
frankly.
disgusting.
Harry.
Yeah,
has
no, that's
great-
bad. He's got to get out of there.
He's got to get out of
Although there is a crazy moment where he straight up drops his roommate's phone into the blender because
Full blender,
full
by the
blender,
way.
full smoothie blender.
Like,
Which I think that was like whoa.
that's crossing a line there, buddy.
Yeah, compared to the beautiful Tribeca apartment.
It really just, like, I mean, obviously, this is like, you know, we talked about this already, but like the financial difference is humongous
Huge.
between these two men.
Huge.
But it just feels like Lucy doesn't, like, for me, the house porn is not so much, ooh, pretty house. I wish I could afford a house like that.
Yeah.
It's more, why are these two the only options that Lucy is presenting herself with? It's either poor man with emotional satisfaction or rich man with no chance of emotional whatever.
Yeah, I think there was a thing that was being litigated at the time.
Litigated.
Well, yeah, really litigated. Because it was about I can't remember the term,
What?
but this idea of
Was it something we said
no, not we said.
in that movie?
No. At the time the movie came out.
Oh.
At the time the movie came out, people were saying how this movie is sort of
Poor man propaganda.
that's the phrase I was looking for. Poor man propaganda, because ultimately Lucy decides to choose
Yeah.
love over material
Whatever.
whatever of Harry.
Yes.
Harry has money,
A lot
but
of
she doesn't
money.
love.
No, indeed not.
She loves John, but
Yes.
John is poor as shit.
Yes.
She chooses John.
Mm.
She chooses love. It's the I mean, it's the boring choice in a romantic in this we've had 50 years of
Choosing the
choosing love.
yes.
It would have kind of been interesting to see her make the maybe less emotionally satisfying, but the pragmatic choice of like, I'm marrying Harry.
Exactly. It would have been, but I think it's important to distinguish.
It's not what this
the
movie's
fact-
about.
No. Well, first of all, no. But second of all, she only, I feel, to me, a big part of the reason why she said yes to John was also because in that final scene, John saying, I love you, I will love you forever. That's already half a commitment. You know, the next man she's going to date, she's going to marry.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he also says, I'm going to try to make myself less broke. I can't promise it'll happen, but I will try to better myself financially and my career so I can keep doing what I love, but also I can provide for the both of us. Which is then when Lucy's brain seems to have a light bulb go off, and then she says, I can take care of myself.
Well, it's the topic and the ideas that are being argued in the movie. It is far-reaching. And there's a reason why this is probably divisive on Letterboxd. This has only got 2.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd average view.
Ooh.
But it was a commercial hit. A lot of people wanted to go see this. The marketing was a little odd for this movie, I must say.
I didn't really see any marketing beyond the posters. And
Good,
and the
because if you
posters, just,
saw
like,
any of the
3 hot
trailers,
people.
you saw any of the
Oh
trailers?
no, I saw the trailers, but not the.
Oh, okay.
Was there any other marketing?
I mean, other than like the usual like hot ones and all that crap. I mean, no, to me, it's like even the trailers.
Yes.
The trailers really played it like a
Finance thing.
not even a finance thing. Like it was sort of like a quirky 2000s.
Yes,
rom-com.
no, the tone was much more upbeat. I remember they had all the cha-ching noises and the price tags.
Yeah, if Past Lives is a romance of melancholy and longing, this Materialist is really a romance of bitterness and acceptance. This is like not the upbeat romance movie that the trailers are trying to sell.
No, I thought it was going to be a lot more fun. There was barely any com to go with a rom-com. It's a
Do you,
drama.
speaking of, do you want to talk about what you said right before we start recording?
I don't remember what I said before we started recording.
The sex of it all.
Oh, this is probably the least sexy rom-com or romance movie I've seen in a while,
Yeah.
guys.
They made out
They made out.
twice.
And there was
Oh, sorry, Dakota Johnson makes out twice. Once
Yeah.
with each boy.
and there was a little bit of an allusion to sex with Harry, but
It's so clean.
it's very unhorny.
No, it's very
There's
unhorny.
no want.
Mm-mm.
I like even with John, there was like no want,
Yeah.
and this is just not.
John is very charismatic,
Yes.
but at no point do I ever feel like crackling chemistry in the way that I feel like you kind of need John and Lucy to have if she's gonna choose
Him.
love and him in that sense.
Yeah.
It's not quite there.
Like on one hand, I'm wondering if it's just because Lucy's character isn't what we usually see in a rom-com. She's not this like vivacious, very emotional, upbeat female lead. On the other hand, I'm just like, it suits the tone of it suits like the themes of the movie so well. It's a very, as you said, it's like a negotiation. It's kind of like bitter and accepting, but it's also like very clinical in a way. But even with that, there's no sort of like emotion behind when there's no emotion behind any of the actors when the debate is supposedly supposed to be emotion versus material gain.
This is what I
kind of
but see,
unsexy.
this is what I meant when I said, like, I feel like this movie works. This movie works. I will say that. I do still think this is actually a good movie, and it's that 2.9 out of 5 average is unwarranted.
It's quite low, guys. It's quite low.
That's really low. But this, I feel like, does jump up like 1-2 points if you swap out Dakota Johnson for someone else.
But if you jump it up 1 or 2 points, then the whole story changes if you have Lucy written as a more emotional character.
No, not necessarily emotion. Like, I do think the way the first half of the movie unfurls,
Are you saying it's like a tone and pacing thing?
I just think the second half needs a bit more of what we're saying, of like that kind of chemistry, a little bit more of an opening up of Lucy's character. Like, it's okay that she's cold and stuff in the first half if we get a bit more of that progression.
So you're just saying we're not seeing like a lot of change or like conflict in
Not
her
enough.
mindset? Yeah.
Yeah, not
okay.
enough.
I kind of see what you mean, yeah. Because like we see her get like a lot more.
She makes a huge life decision by the end of this film.
And she's a lot more tense about the fact that she may have accidentally led to her client / almost friend getting assaulted.
Yeah. She makes 3 big life decisions.
Yeah.
She leaves her
Schwab.
well, that too. No, I was gonna say he leaves Harry. She leaves Harry.
Her, yeah.
Who is what she says up front is basically described as like the ideal match for her. Leaves that person, leaves her job, and then marries John. Those
Yeah.
are 3 huge life decisions.
Is he making in the span of like what, 2 or 3 weeks? 3 months if
Yeah.
we're optimistic?
Yeah,
Guys.
and it's really underplayed.
It is.
At least, yeah. So, I don't know.
Hmm.
Still a good movie. I actually do still think it's a good movie, though.
I do enjoy it. Would I watch it again? Maybe not. Maybe we might take another year in a specific mood.
Save.
Oh,
Because
save.
we're gonna move on to the next segment. We're
Let's
gonna
see.
talk about the OMAs, the One More
the
Awards, and Shelf Life.
Okay.
So we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Imran here. If you're enjoying this ramble on about movies, make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or that suspicious CD vendor on the street. Don't worry, he's cool. It's just Tyler. Hi.
Okay, OMAs. One More Awards. This is your first time doing this. This is
Yeah.
actually the first time anyone other than Tyler is doing
Oh my God.
the One More Awards.
Wait, no.
Because you're the first guest.
I can't live up to this. Tyler, I'm so sorry if I butcher your legacy.
Okay. I think. Well. We can't really do. I want to do a Maxi Award for Best Needle Drop. There's a really great. Well, maybe it's not so much what the needle drop is, but the whole culmination. But there's the great Japanese breakfast song at the end, the original song for the film, played over the final shot. That's like in a static wide of John and Lucy going to the courthouse, the public courthouse in New York to get married. And I said it as the credits were rolling, but it's played almost like a Jacques Tati film, where it's like the environment is bustling, and it's like you read it as you read it. And it's like there's no hand holding. It's like you need to pick out, because they don't even appear. John and Lucy don't even appear in the shot until like like a minute or something into it, and then the whole scene plays out. And there's even a thing we were saying as it was rolling of like, you were saying like, don't they need a witness like to get properly married? And then literally like a few seconds after you said that, John ducked into the crowd and tries to find someone to be a witness. And it's not like we hear any of this. It's purely visual. And it's played over that Japanese breakfast song, which is really fun, really great. Do you have anything? Do you have any hyper-specific awards you'd like to nominate this film for?
I don't know, man. Like, it's sometimes when it's like I watch a movie, I forget every other movie I've seen. So
Fair.
I'm gonna consult the unofficial list.
I feel like we don't have we have a One Scene Wonder award, but let's make a Best Supporting Actor award.
Scene
and
stealer.
let's give it, Scene Stealer. And let's give it to Zoe Winters for Sophie, who is, who's great. Absolutely fantastic.
excellent.
Smashes it every time.
She has this certain conviction, like very emotive eyes that really like I remember in the first scene we see her right at the end when she's saying, I'm not asking for a lot, I'm just asking for the bare minimum. You can really, really see the desperation. And that's when I was like, sold.
It's like there's a innocence isn't the right word. There is a vulnerability that she can play into really well. That quiver of the line read. That especially in later scenes, that can just boil over into like just like pure like feeling, riding out that emotion.
And
it's really good.
And also like in the second scene we see her in that confrontation with Lucy, that really big ugly sniffle. Beautiful, amazing, absolutely amazing.
It's really great. It's really great. I want to add a new award as well because you've inspired it.
Oh God.
The Architectural Digest House Porn Award for Best Set Design.
We didn't even see that much in this one. I just got excited at the thought of seeing Lucy's apartment.
No, but I want to give it to the Tribeca. Let's go.
The Tribeca penthouse.
The Tribeca penthouse.
Yeah.
Because that is a gorgeous penthouse.
Guys, you need to watch.
Holy
Okay, y'all
shit.
need to watch this just to see that.
Just to see that.
Beautiful, beautiful pan out into like the living area. Amazing.
Could you imagine Harry doing an Architectural Digest like walkthrough video?
I could actually.
Hi, AD. I'm Harry Castillo. Welcome to my New York penthouse. Beautifully wood paneled.
Beautifully.
Oh my God, big hallways.
Amazing.
I will say there was one point where you could see out to the river, and we were like,
Yes.
wow, great. But there was some pretty tall buildings next to them. And then there was a later shot in the kitchen where we were like, the penthouse changed floors?
The thing is, okay,
It's
listen.
just a different view.
If definitely a different view, but also like, does the river wrap around that way, or where are we specifically? We don't know.
Maybe
anyway.
we're looking down across like Central Park or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
We don't have a map of Tribeca. We don't know how the
well.
geography of New York is.
We also don't know New York, period.
No,
Anyway.
not really. But yeah, the Architectural Digest House Porn Award
Yeah.
for best set design. I think that's a new one that we're gonna add. But that was the other one. The office, the matchmaker office, the boss's
matchmaker
office.
office.
The what?
It was very specific. It was very.
It was the
nice.
boss, the CEO's office, not
was
CEO, the
the-
head of the New York
Yeah,
office. It was very, you
Damn.
said it immediately as well. I was like, whoa.
Great office.
Great office.
It's not bland. It's not boring. There's no like.
It's not too
white-
loud.
Yeah,
It's not too loud.
But
Great
it's-
mix of materials.
but it's not minimalist either.
No.
I do not enjoy a minimalist office. It feels like, when a company says there's this like luxury matchmaking company for like people in the 150K a year pre-tax range, that is kind of what I imagined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to wrap around actually and say one more thing before we move on, which is that the bookshelf in
The
Harry's
bookshelf.
apartment. It's a nice looking bookshelf, but that's a performative bookshelf.
It is a little bit. Like up top is just.
There's some things you would not be able to reach once they're up there.
Yeah, and that's why.
And also the books
higher
are placed like
horizontal.
horizontally, so it's like,
You gotta lift them and then get it out.
yeah,
And put them back.
that means no one's ever touching those books.
No, they're all like artsy reference books, aren't they?
Well, probably. Yeah. Or they're like finance books. No, actually no.
Finance magazines would be near the bottom, I feel like.
What if they're finance books, but they're shot like they're photography books?
What, like here's a blurry, overexposed shot of the stock exchange?
Yeah,
Sure.
it could be.
Could be.
Wall Street on film. Should be shit like that, you know?
Yeah,
It would be.
it would be.
It would be hardback, woven bound,
Ginormous.
huge. And somewhere they'll sell out for all those equity partners that would love a little taste of art.
More pictures than words.
Yeah, exactly. Iris Henderson Physical Comedy Award. I want to give it to throwing that phone into the blender because I was truly shocked.
It was
I was
amazing.
truly shocked when he did that. I was like, what the fuck?
It was also the hilarity of the used condom.
Oh, yes. The
Right out
previous
the
scene.
bedroom door.
Stepping right. The guy said that he missed the bin, but there was no bin in sight.
Absolutely.
No
In
bin
his
in sight.
defense, he was drunk, which is also what he says in the movie.
And actually, that was a really great back and forth where it says, where Chris Evans' character is talking to his roommate who has left the condom in the kitchen, the used condom,
Yeah.
sticky condom. But he says, "Why would you throw it in the kitchen?" And then the roommate says, "I don't know. It didn't make sense. I was drunk. I wasn't thinking like that, man." So you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. In fact, that could probably also go for the "you don't put on a condom unless you're gonna fuck" award for best out of context quote. I don't know why I threw the condom in the kitchen. I was drunk. I wasn't thinking.
I also didn't really enjoy the. I didn't want it in my room, so we have to deal with it in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. Bless him. He was drunk.
Bless
What
him,
was he
he was
gonna
drunk.
do? What was he gonna do?
Respect the communal living space. Roommate 101.
Yeah. Okay, shelf life. How it works. You rate the movie based on how you would, want to watch it in the future. Is this a one and done on streamer? Are you going to buy this on Blu-ray and own it? Are you going to buy it on 4K and own it? What's the vibe? What do you think? Is this a see it in theaters and then never see it again? How would you rate The Materialists in that sense? What's your shelf life review?
Either the 10 or 5-year anniversary. Personally, might not own it. 4K Blu-ray is a maybe. I wouldn't watch it in the next year or so, unless I was trying to get somebody to think about the themes very critically.
Okay.
And even then, I would sit through it and maybe just like kind of have half an eye on the screen and half an eye on the person.
Okay.
I do think that this is going to remain somewhat relevant for at least the next 10 to 15 years. Unfortunate, but true, but also something that it does need thinking about and should be a lot more talked about, just more generally. I think that the conversation around the movie honestly was a little misguided.
Well, I
Like,
think part of
even
it is
though we
what we were saying with the marketing, where it's like, I
Yeah.
think it was positioned too much as a regular romantic comedy.
it was positioned
when
too
that's
much as
not
like a
what it
fun
was.
thing.
Yeah.
Like I know we talked a lot about like the finance like money versus emotion
Yeah.
in like the last hour or so that
Well,
we've
that's
been
what this
talking about.
movie's
It.
really about.
It's what it's
ultimately.
really about, but on like there's a lot more nuance that could be surrounded by like that's around this in okay, let me rephrase that. There's a lot more nuance to every conversation that's having in this movie that has not been had on the internet, or at least that hasn't made its way across my dash, which is unfortunately I very much rabbit holed into the materialist bit. And for every one post I saw about like, you know, women's financial freedoms or having to make a hard decision like with morality and your own emotions, it was just mostly boiled down to would you choose a poor man who loved you or a rich man who didn't? When in reality, it just kind of remains a fact that they don't really talk about like any sort of power imbalances or the opportunity to even meet somebody like that.
That's true.
When that's kind of like, guys, it's kind of huge. We kind of maybe need to be thinking about that a little bit. Like, how are you going to say that you have a choice to make between a rich man who doesn't love you and a poor man who does if you're never going to meet either of them?
Yeah. If you never even get to the point where you'd be in the same room to meet one of them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, at some level, Materialists is a story about class.
I think on a lot of levels,
Like, a lot of
Materialists is
levels.
a movie about class.
But it never addresses it very directly in a way where it's talking about class. It only talks about wealth.
This is yeah, because it's a binary. They present it as two binary extremes.
Exactly.
Really rich or dirt poor.
Exactly. Even though Lucy is sort of this like newly middle class.
Yeah.
And this plays into the
The fact that we don't even see what she's like
Yeah.
outside of the context of it. She is like, yeah, she is newly middle class. We don't get to see any of that.
No.
Like outside of, she's always positioned in relation to the two boys who represent the two extremes.
yeah, or to like her coworkers where she blends in really well.
Yeah.
But to me, this does play. Okay, we're going back to the main question because I promised I had a point.
Okay.
This does play into the longevity for me because at what point is this going to where I'm going to see this, and then I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, I completely feel like this is still relevant to what's happening now because you know so much of the media that we watch or consume, whether like either way of looking at it, we watch it because there's some relevance or there's like a complete sense of escapism. This kind of provides neither.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no escapist element, and it's a little too on the nose to be. It's a little too on the nose to be escapist, but it's a little too vague to be relevant completely.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, yeah, maybe in like 2 years or so, I'll come back and be like, I wonder what happened to the Rich Man Pedro Pascal movie.
So it's sort of like see the clips on YouTube if they get propped up in your recommended. If it's on a streaming service, you might watch it 3 years down the line to remind yourself what happened.
Yeah.
If it's discounted Blu-ray, you might pick it up, but it's not a must-have on Blu-ray.
No, it's not something that I feel super strongly about, which is also like a thing about like movies for me. It's like if it doesn't make me feel anything super duper strong, then I'm kind of just gonna be a little ambivalent about it, even though I think the themes are, you know, pretty good and worth talking about. They don't really make me feel anything.
Yeah. So this is a movie, it's like, if it's on a streaming service, you might recommend it to someone to be like, hey, if you haven't seen this,
Yeah.
go check it out.
I mean, there's definitely people I'll recommend this to just because I think it's something that it's, you know, it's a good way to get a conversation started. But it's not something I'm going to be like, oh my god, you absolutely have to watch this. This is the best thing you'll ever watch in your life. It's going to change you.
100%. This is like a bellwether for people. It's like you're trying to figure something out.
Yeah. Like, you ever thought about watching this before?
I'm with you. I wouldn't own this on Blu-ray, but if it's on a streaming service or it pops up on something, I'll give it another spin.
Yeah, it's
Just to
like one of
remind
those-
myself.
Like, if you still have like cable or live TV and it's
Oh,
on,
this
like,
would do gangbusters on HBO and Cinemax. Oh my god, you're so right.
yeah, it's like you turn on a TV and it's like HBO at night, maybe at like 8 p.m. and you're just like, okay, I'll eat my dinner.
Like,
while
oh,
I watch this.
Materialists. It's like halfway through, you're like, yeah, I'll watch the rest of the Materialists.
Yeah, let me refresh how this conversation goes.
We used to be
We used
to be a
proper
world
country.
where that was a thing and you could just tune in. The choice was out of your hands. You know, you didn't need to scroll a streaming service for like 30 minutes or an hour before you decided what to watch and then you realize, oh, I can't watch it anymore. I spent too much
Yeah.
time deciding. You could just be like, hey, what's on HBO right now?
Yeah, it's also a good way to get rid of like choice paralysis,
Yeah.
especially or like introduce you to something new.
If only.
If only.
If only. Okay.
Thank God Sky TV exists.
Well, let's wrap it up.
Let's
Thank
wrap it
you
up.
so much, Claire, for coming on as the first guest of second season of One More for Safety, technically. It's
We're on the
in this
second
new
season.
format.
Oh my God!
Like I said, you're the first person to do the Omas that's not Tyler.
Yay!
very
Thank you, Tyler. Shout out to Tyler.
Before we go, one final thing before we go, I'm gonna ask you, what have you been watching recently? Do you have any recommendation? It could be anything. You know what? It doesn't even need to be a movie. What have you been enjoying lately?
This is a very loaded question because I've been trying to get him to watch The Pit for the last year and a half.
I knew that's what she was gonna say.
But okay, first of all,
That's fair. You know
I'm
what? You know what?
keeping up with The Pit.
Proselytize. Tell me again about The Pit. Tell the people at home about The Pit.
okay, I will tell you guys about two shows because one, I haven't been able to get out of my head for the last 6 years. And the
Okay.
other one, I haven't been able to get out of my head for the last 2 years. So
You have 5 minutes to talk about both.
excellent. So first of all, The Pit, as of the time of recording of this episode, The Pit season 2 finale is coming out Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, which means it will be out in the UK on Friday, which means I will be sat and I will be watching that thing.
This literally sounds like you work on The Pit and you're
I love The
advertising.
Pit.
Okay.
I don't think you understand how much I love The
No,
Pit.
I understand how much you love The Pit.
This is for the audience. to
Okay,
understand how much I
yeah,
love
you're
The
right.
Pit.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
all that hype you see around this amazing medical show, I need you guys to know that this is something that you can either watch casually and you're going to be like, okay, this is really interesting, or you're going to get so invested it's going to take up your brain space for the next year until the next season comes out. Because the miracle about this show is that they are going to release it every single year. And so far, we just got renewed for season 3. So season 4 is coming, in case you guys just don't want to invest in a show where it's like 8 episodes and then
Yeah, there's
you know,
more
we get
down the
nothing.
pipe. There's more
There's
coming.
more down the pipe. Thank God. But Noah Wiley is a doctor yet again. It's in a 24 hours format where every episode is 1 hour of a long shift, 15 episodes.
Yep.
It's absolutely fantastic ensemble cast. Sometimes when you have an ensemble, there's just 1 or 2 people that's off. In a cast of about 100, including the regulars, recurrings, and guests, there's maybe only 2 people who have a little bit of like a dodgy performance. And even then, it's not something that's super noticeable and it doesn't really take you out of it. The storylines are treated with so much care. Every character is fleshed out so beautifully. And honestly, I really like the direction they're taking season 2 in. Do I have certain critiques for it? Of course I do. But like this is just something that's, you know, people care about it so much in the making of it that you can really feel it. And as an audience, we also really feel it a lot. And the second one is just my long-term love, Elementary, because we're back
Oh,
again.
okay,
Of course we are.
yeah.
Just 7 seasons of Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu, and it's a beautiful watch. It's something that's so Sherlockian. I mean, it is based on Sherlock, so it is, you know,
That's
going to
how-
be
yeah,
Sherlockian.
yeah.
But it's just, if you didn't like how clinical and cold and like, I don't care about people, Sherlock, the show was, I think you're going to like Elementary.
It's like if Sherlock the BBC show is like the serious dramatic adaptation, modern
Yes.
retelling. This is like,
It's kind of fun. It's kind of lighthearted. It's
Yeah.
a lot funnier, and it's a lot more chaotic. I would say it's still like got its like serious dramatic bits, but it's just so fun and it's so kind of rewarding to see how the characters develop.
also
Like-
it's got Lucy Liu.
Also, it's really Lucy Liu. Like I love a character development. I love character development.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Claire, for coming on and helping make an episode this week, because I was really scared that we weren't even going to have an episode this week. So thank you for that. We'll have you back at some point.
Oh gee.
We'll have you back at some point.
Okay.
We could. You know what? This is announcement on this podcast. But I've been saying we need to get more repeat correspondence guests who have specializations.
Oh god.
I think you need to come back when we've got like murder mysteries on the table.
Oh.
When we, I think because you are really my murder mystery buddy.
Oh really?
Yeah. If I see a murder mystery movie, I'm like, save that in my mind. Gotta watch it with Clara. So
Guys.
I feel like we got some sleuthing to do.
We have a lot of sleuthing to do. As long as they're making like Benoit Blanc mysteries, we got a lot of sleuthing to do.
That's true. It's true. As long as the idea of a Benoit Blanc movie on the horizon is coming, we've got mysteries to solve.
We've got so many mysteries to solve.
And there's so many great murder mysteries.
Exactly. I
that we can
really
do.
think it's making a comeback, especially with like Young
Huge
Sherlock.
comeback.
I just finished that like about a week ago. It was amazing.
Oh yes, the one on Prime.
Yes.
Okay.
That I immediately clocked the axe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But
Anyway.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll have you back at some point for something. Maybe a
Yay.
murder mystery. Maybe
not.
Hunger Games.
Ooh.
That's something that I'm trying to plan. We'll see. Who knows?
We'll see. Thanks for having me.
No, it's great having you.
Yay.
Thank you for listening to One More for Safety. I've been Imran,
And this is Claire.
and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.